Since I have the privilege of having the mic right now, may I ask you a question, Rahul?
Of course.
I'll begin by asking, and then we'll take other questions, of course. You talked about how you worked extensively on the digitization thing of courts. The accessibility is still an issue, and how far has that gone? If you just throw some light on that. And I'm asking this in the light of your recent Twitter meltdown also. I was following that. So is the SEC.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
while you are answering this question, will you be able to kind of use some Hindi also?
Bilkul, definitely. I'm
So
sorry if I have not done that adequately so far. Yeah.
या सो ये जो आपने कोर्ट के जो एक्सेसिबिलिटी के बारे में, डिजिटाइजेशन और एक्सेसिबिलिटी के बारे में आपने जो बात किया, आई थिंक ये श्रुति का सवाल उसी सिलसिले में है।
जी, तो बेसिकली दो बातें हैं। एक तो कि जो उन्होंने कहा कि कोर्ट की डिजिटल एक्सेसिबिलिटी में मेरा क्या काम रहा है, तो अभी भी काफी ऑब्स्टिकल्स हैं। जैसे कि कोर्ट वेबसाइट पे कैप्चास यूज किए जाते हैं काफी जगहों पे बिना ऑडियो सब्स्टिट्यूट के, या फिर ऑडियो सब्स्टिट्यूट रहा भी तो इफेक्टिव नहीं है, सुन नहीं पाते अच्छे तरीके से। वो एक है। दूसरा, जैसा मैंने आपको कहा कि फाइलिंग्स अभी भी काफी हद तक स्कैन करके लोग प्रिंट आउट करते हैं अपने पेजेस को, सिग्नेचर लेते हैं और फिर स्कैन करते हैं, ना कि वर्ड से पीडीएफ में कन्वर्ट कर दिया जाए। तो वो स्कैनिंग अगर अच्छी नहीं रही तो देन एक्सेसिबिलिटी इश्यूज आते हैं। एक इन दोनों चैलेंजेस से एक बड़ा चैलेंज ये है कि लीगल डिस्प्यूट में मेन जो आर्ग्यूमेंट्स दे टर्न नॉट सो मच ऑन जो आपकी प्लीडिंग्स हैं, जो आपने फाइल किया है, व्हाटएवर पिटिशन, रिप्लाई, एफिडेविट, बट जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स पे आप रिलाय कर रहे हो, बिल्स हो गए, आपके करस्पॉन्डेंस है, बैंक अकाउंट डिटेल्स हैं, क्रिमिनल मैटर्स में वेरियस मेडिकल रिपोर्ट्स है, पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट्स हैं, एंड दीज आर ऑफ्टन नॉट स्कैन्ड एडिक्वेटली, so such that you cannot make out a lot of content, and उसमें फिर you need to take help कि भाई इसमें क्या लिखा है, किसी से पूछना पड़ता है। And उसमें भी I've been working on mandating a 300 dots per inch resolution across the board ताकि वो scan quality requisite हो। जहाँ तक पहला problem मैंने बताया of using scanning printed pages, on that solution that I have been pushing for is to use digital signatures more, और अगर वो नहीं हो पाए तो फिर सिर्फ लास्ट पेज को प्रिंट आउट करो और स्कैन करो, ना कि पूरी की पूरी फाइल को, और कैप्चा रिमूवल के लिए भी सॉल्यूशंस बताए गए हैं। एंड therefore those are the kinds of issues that you face on an everyday basis, and it slows you down a great deal in terms of your work productivity. जहाँ तक दूसरा सवाल श्रुति आपने पूछा एससीसी के बारे में और जो रिसेंट इंटरेक्शन हुआ था, that's just emblematic of an exclusionary mindset, right? Because SCC से हमारा काफी सालों से ये चल रही है conversation to make their website accessible. और एक बात हो सकती है कि कोई बोले कि भैया हाँ हमारे पास प्रॉब्लम है, but slowly we will work on that and address it. But उनका approach itself has been extremely problematic in the sense that they don't even think that the disabled are a constituency that they need to cater to. And कभी कभार उन्होंने कॉपीराइट इशू का सॉर्ट ऑफ एक्सक्यूज दिया है कि हमारे कॉपीराइट या सिक्योरिटी वायलेशन होंगे, बिना बताए कि ये किस तरीके से होंगे, या फिर एक्सेसिबिलिटी और सिक्योरिटी ये दोनों साथ साथ जा सकते हैं, दे आर नॉट म्यूचुअली इनकम्पैटिबल। एंड काफी बेसिक चीजें हैं, जैसे उनकी वेबसाइट पे लिंक्स आर अनलेबल्ड, सर्च फिल्टर्स आप अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते। इन चीजों का कुछ सिक्योरिटी कॉपीराइट से लेना देना नहीं है, अगर एक मिनट के लिए मान भी लो कि जजमेंट्स का लेना देना है। तो इट्स जस्ट द एब्सेंस ऑफ एन अप्रोप्रिएट mindset that has resulted in their website being inaccessible. And courts में, इंडियन कोर्ट्स में SCC की ही जजमेंट्स यूज की जाती हैं, जो SCC से ट्रू कॉपीज कहलाते हैं, उनको तो मिलती हैं। तो आप चाहो ना चाहो आपको यूज करना ही पड़ता है, वरना मुझे कोई शौक नहीं है वो वेबसाइट यूज करने का, बट वन डजंट हैव अ चॉइस इन द मैटर।
श्योर।
अच्छा, एक सवाल यहाँ पर है राहुल। Somebody's asked, there are 3 or 4 questions which I noticed. One was, what is the relevance of the law that you studied in England from an Indian context? Number one. Number two, somebody else asked about what is the difference between life in England and over here. I think you touched upon it briefly. There's
Yes.
somebody else who's asked, what have you done to improve your English? And then I think there's another question which I think Shruti will need to read out, which is to do with what are the kind of exams, which is the kind of university or law college that one needs to go to, and what is the kind of preparation one needs to do to actually go through an education in law.
Right.
Have I covered all that, Shruti?
Yeah, there are a couple more. So let's go one by one. Rahul, you can start off with the text you reply.
And please just remind me if I forget any of these, because
Sure.
like I haven't made a note of them. Maybe going forward I will. So
Sure, I'll keep a track of those.
thank you so much. So about your first question, about sort of so let me answer them as I remember them. So there was one question about English and how one can improve that. So for me, spoken English has never been an issue, because like growing up, I used to speak reasonable amount of English at home, and also in school I studied in an English medium school. But written English was a bigger challenge, because like I said, मैंने braille नहीं सीखी थी as I was growing up. So the consequence of that was कि spelling में काफी problem आते थे, because auditory feedback में one doesn't catch a lot of things. So that's something that you had to develop consciously over a period of time, कि जब आप जॉब से पढ़ रहे हो तो spelling consciousness develop करो. और आप लोग तो जानते ही होंगे कि कैरेक्टर बाय कैरेक्टर उसको बोलने को लगाओ जो कोई वर्ड्स आप नहीं समझ पा रहे. सो दैट्स वन वे ऑफ डूइंग इट. एंड दूसरा ये कि आप लिखो ज्यादा से ज्यादा एंड चेक करो कि भैया क्या स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक्स मैंने किए हैं, और उसके बेसिस पे मालूम पड़ सकते हैं स्पेलिंग पंक्चुएशन में क्या इम्प्रूवमेंट हो सकते हैं. But best approach there is to learn Braille growing up, because then that way you seamlessly pick up on written English more effectively. एक और सवाल था about the law and what exams etc. you need to give in order to study the law. तो जैसा मैंने कहा कि 2012 में मैं क्लैट देने वाला था, बट आई वांटेड टू स्टडी इन नागपुर, तो मैंने क्लैट नहीं दिया, बट दैट इज द एग्जाम दैट यू नीड टू गिव इन ऑर्डर टू गेट इनटू अ नेशनल लॉ स्कूल. अगर आप एनएलयू दिल्ली में जाना चाहते हो तो एक एग्जाम होता है ऑल इंडिया लॉ एंट्रेंस टेस्ट या एलईटी, वो देना पड़ता है. और कुछ लॉ स्कूल्स के अपने अलग भी एग्जाम्स होते हैं एंट्रेंस, जैसे कि नेशनल लॉ स्कूल बैंगलोर में अभी शुरू किया रिसेंटली, व्हिच वाज स्ट्रक डाउन एक्चुअली बाय द सुप्रीम कोर्ट. तो वो नहीं है अभी, मगर कुछ लॉ स्कूल्स के होते हैं अलग एंट्रेंस टेस्ट लाइक द एलसैट एक्सेट्रा. फिर उसके अलावा और तो कोई ऐसा एग्जाम नहीं है. बस आप जब लॉ स्कूल खत्म कर देते हो तो एक ऑल इंडिया बार एग्जाम देना पड़ता है टू बी able to start practicing law, but that's quite a formality. There's not much to it. And abroad जाने के लिए तो you don't need to give any exam. आपको अपना application देनी पड़ती है to the university which you are applying to, along with आपके जो भी marksheets हैं, CV है, references हैं, etc. And English test देना पड़ सकता है IELTS या TOEFL. और वो भी मुझे उसके दौरान तो मुझे तो वेवर मिल गया था बिकॉज मेरा अंडर ग्रेजुएट एजुकेशन इंग्लिश में था जब मैंने अंडर लॉ पढ़ा था. बट उसमें भी मुझे सॉर्ट ऑफ व्हेन आई वाज गोइंग टू गो आइल्स मैंने देने की कोशिश की थी, टू गिव इट, but I faced a lot of difficulty in obtaining accommodations for it in a timely way, because the way that test is set up is such ki kuch pieces of information to be able to locate in a timely way is really difficult, and if I needed double time, and they were it took me a while, as in it took a lot of time for them to come around to that, although they have given it to other people in the past. However, the situation was such that I might have crossed the deadline for submitting my exam results. So I told Oxford about this, and they said, of course, you've done your undergraduate in English, so we give a waiver anyway to people who've done that. That wasn't an issue for me, but it could have been if I had to give that exam. It's a very straightforward one, but still people can cause issues. And then there was one question about the law in India versus England, as in how does the law that you studied there apply here? The
Yeah.
answer to that is that so two of the four subjects that I did while I was studying there were comparative law based. So ऐसा नहीं था कि मैं British law पढ़ रहा था, वो different countries के laws पढ़ रहे थे, including Indian law also. So therefore, in that sense, it has applicability because आप अपने country के reference में दूसरे लोगों के laws पढ़ रहे होते हो. And हमारे shared common law tradition है England के साथ because they are the ones who introduced the present legal system that exists here. काफी हमारे fundamental जो laws हैं जैसे कि evidence, property, contract, penal code वो Britishers ने ही frame किए थे. There's a lot of convergence that is there. एंड मैंने दूसरे साल में जो अपनी एमफिल डिग्री की वो तो इंडियन लॉ में ही थी, भले ऑक्सफोर्ड से की हो मगर इंडियन लॉ में की. So that's sort of the answer to that in some sense. And then there was one other question about living life in England versus India. और उसका जवाब तो जैसे जॉर्ज सर ने कहा मैंने दिया ही है in the speech, in the initial remarks that I gave, कि बेसिकली एज अ डिसेबल्ड पर्सन जो ट्रेड ऑफ आपका है, एक तरफ वहाँ पे आपको ज्यादा एक्सेसिबिलिटी मिल सकती है, फिजिकली आप रोड पे इंडिपेंडेंटली जा सकते हो, अपनी ग्रोसरी लेने जा सकते हो, आपको फिजिकल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बेटर मिलेगा, रास्ते में डॉग्स नहीं मिलेंगे घूमते हुए, पॉट होल्स नहीं होंगे इतने, लाइफ इज मच क्वाइटर, इतना लोग एक दूसरे को शव नहीं कर रहे होंगे, क्राउड नहीं होंगे, दैट्स देयर. बट जो ह्यूमन सपोर्ट आपको यहाँ मिल सकता है वो वहाँ नहीं मिल पाएगा. तो अगर आपको ड्राइवर चाहिए कहीं जाने के लिए तो वो नहीं मिलना पड़ेगा, टैक्सी लेनी पड़ेगी जो ज्यादा महंगी है, आपको खाना खुद बनाना सीखना पड़ेगा, कपड़े खुद धोना सीखना पड़ेगा. तो ये ट्रेड ऑफ है बेसिकली फंडामेंटली दोनों कंट्रीज के बीच में.
As an extension to that question, Rahul, Varun has also asked if you faced any discrimination in England, any form of discrimination.
Not directly, no. I mean, I did have some difficulty when I went there about obtaining the accommodations that I needed, and I felt that I wasn't treated appropriately by the disability service, and I brought it up with them. One of their advisors, I felt, did not behave appropriately. So they changed that person then, and the second one that I had was quite good. But I mean, I don't know how much it was a function of my race and disability versus just that person's mannerisms. So I can't really conclusively say much about that. But I mean, it does. A lot of my friends who go there, who were with me there, and even now, uh, felt that because of their race, they were discriminated against in direct and indirect ways. And as someone with a disability, it makes you more vulnerable. But the flip side to that is also that I felt I was much more assertive than they were, and in part it was because of my disability that I have become that way. So they would often not be willing to talk to Britishers in. I mean, they had a sense of hesitation about talking to them freely sometimes. But for me, that was never a problem. I could engage very freely with people and also gave them the benefit of the doubt more than my sighted friends did when it came to things like discrimination or being treated badly.
Okay. All right, Rashmi, you have a question. Can you please unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yes. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
Good evening, sir. This is Rashmi Marwada,
Hi.
and it was amazing to hear you. The session was amazing, and
you.
I am also a law student studying in National Law
Oh, I
School,
see.
Visakhapatnam.
Oh, I see.
So I wanted to ask. Yes.
Which year I said?
Third year. I just entered my
see.
third year.
Okay, nice.
Yes. So I just wanted to ask something that what are the career opportunities after law? If I give civils, if I give UPSC, then what will be the career opportunities for me? And is it a good option to give UPSC? Because many people suggest me that UPSC is a good option, you should try for it and like that. So uh, like what kind
Yeah.
of opportunities are there in it? I just wanted to know.
Yeah. And how much vision do you have?
I'm totally blind. I'm 100% visually impaired.
I see. Right. So I think the UPSC has become more access, as in the civil service has become more accessible to the disabled in the last few years because some
Yes,
people
yes.
have waged that battle about clearing the exam but not getting posted, and things have gotten better. From what I know, um the there are some services that might be harder to get accommodated in, but I
Yes.
think there are but there are, for example, I was recently listening to this. I was at an event with Ira Singhal last week at Vasant Valley School, and of course you've heard of her, I'm sure. She secured the first rank a couple of years in the UPSC exams, and she spoke about her struggle of clearing the exam twice and not
Yes,
getting
yes.
recruited in any of the 24 services. And then how it was only when she came first that she actually got the service that she wanted. But I have another friend who has a hearing impairment and who secured rank 9 a couple of years
Okay.
ago. And her name is Soumya Sharma. You should look her up. And she has had a fairly positive experience thus far. The reason why I decided not to go down that path is A, because it wasn't like being a government servant just wasn't something that interested me in terms of just the nature of the job. From what I knew, wasn't something that I was comfortable doing, and also I have felt always that the government is not that well equipped to make accommodations for the disabled compared to the private
Yeah,
sector, which
yeah,
is more well
that's true.
resourced and has a more progressive mindset, because government processes are slow and there's a lot of red tapeism as it is. So add a
Yes.
disability to that, and you have a perfect cocktail for some amount of difficulty to arrive. But that shouldn't deter you from doing it if it's something that you're genuinely interested in. So what I would do if I were you, Rashmi, would be to reach out to people like Ira Singhal and Soumya Sharma and what was her name?
Benu
Benodin.
Zafine. Benu Zafine. Yeah.
Benu Zafine. People like that uh, who have covered that ground, who traveled that route, and see what their experience has been like.
So, if you don't mind, can I have any contact of yours? Because I need guidance. I am actually right now,
Of course,
I don't know. I don't have much clue about what career I should choose. Like,
of course.
many
We
people
will,
suggest.
Rashmi, we will share his email address to start with.
Yes, sir. Actually, I need guidance on
Yeah, yeah.
career
So
because
job
I'm
sir
too
will
clueless
pass.
right now.
Yeah,
So Rashmi,
I do.
we will share his Rahul's email ID,
Thank you so much, sir.
and you can get in touch. And as
Yes.
far as the IAS is concerned, recently I met a lady by the name of Monica Gupta, who is an IAS officer, blind lady who is based out of Faridabad. There is also Prangja Patil, who is
Pranjya Patil. I read
yeah,
about her.
yeah, she is right now posted in Delhi in Vasant Vihar. She is a DM
Yes.
there. So there are a number of there's an Ajay Arora who's in somewhere in Punjab
Yes.
now. So there are a number of visually impaired people, totally blind as well as partially blind, who are in the UPSC. So if that's the case, you won't be alone. You won't be fighting a lone battle. There will be a number of people who will be involved with you. Thank you,
Yes.
Rashmi. Thank you, Rashmi.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thank
much,
you.
sir.
And do reach out anytime if I can be of any help.
Thank you so much, sir. I will definitely
Of
reach
course.
out to you.
All right. Take
All right,
care.
thanks, Rashmi. We'll move on to the next question. Galaxy M31. Can you please tell your name and ask your question?
Yeah, this is Darshana. Am I audible?
Yes, Darshana.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Hi. It's very inspiring and very wonderful journey of yours. So
Thank you.
actually, my question to you is, like usually visually impaired person takes extra time, or sometimes double time to do things. So it in our profession, so like in a tough profession like law, so how do you manage that in especially in case of deadlines?
That's a great question, and I think it's something that remains a lifelong struggle. The first thing to do is to acknowledge that it is not something that's a function of your deficiency, because one of the things that I often find myself doing is, even now, if it takes me longer to do something, I can end up ascribing it to my incompetence or to my inefficiency rather than my disability. So the thought is that I must be doing something wrong, which is why it is taking me this much time. But that's not why it is the case. It's because fundamentally, with a screen reading software, no matter how good you are, no matter how fast you read, there are certain areas where you will fall short because you just can't read, you can't skim read as a sighted person can to get to the relevant data points. Just flipping between documents takes time, and JAWS also slows down, or any software slows down from time to time when dealing with large documents, things like that. So you have to come to terms with that and then adapt your lifestyle accordingly. So you need to factor in that downtime into your schedule. For example, if you know that it's going to take you a while to convert something from PDF to Word using FineReader, then you make sure that while that is happening, you can read something else that you need to do for your work so that that time doesn't get wasted. You need to also be realistic, as I said, about your deadline. So, for example, I told Justice Chandrachud last week that because it takes me longer to make briefs of the files that I work with him or that I work for him on, if it would be all right for me to send my briefs to him last so that he can read my files after having read everyone else's. And he was perfectly comfortable with that. But if I had thought that, oh my God, what is he going to think about me if I ask him that, I would never have been able to. And now that I have, I find that I can work for him with a much easier mind, knowing that I have the time I need. It's also the case that certain things are really not going to be possible for you to do, which are very time sensitive and where you just need to, in 5-10 minutes, rush and get something done. For example, rush from one courtroom to another, or just flip through a file and give someone some data. So you need to recognize how you can compensate for that by doing other things which aren't as time sensitive, but which are more skill dependent, and where you have the requisite skill set to be able to make up for that deficiency. So the point is that you really need to be very conscious about it, and you need to account for it in how you work, and not be bogged down by this fact that it is taking you longer. Just recognize that it is a function of your disability, and you should of course try to get as fast as you can, but always recognize that there are ways that you will still remain behind in some ways. And the last thing I would say is to just build your skills more in other ways. For example, uh, I tell myself that even if it takes me longer to read files or to read judgments, if I set aside some time every day to read more cases than the average person is, it will just build my knowledge base so much more, such that if when it comes to it, I will have more knowledge to draw on, and in that sense, I can make an equally important contribution or a more important contribution than my able-bodied counterparts in the work that I do. So those are some ideas.
Oh, thank you so much.
Of
All right.
course.
Gurbaksh, you have a question? Gurbaksh, unmute कर लीजिए अपने end से.
हेलो
हाँ जी.
Yes, hi.
मैम, मेरा पहला क्वेश्चन तो ये है कि लॉ की जजमेंट्स के लिए या लॉ के टॉपिक्स के लिए ऑथेंटिकेटेड यूट्यूब चैनल कौन सा हो सकता है जिसपे सही कवर किए हों टॉपिक्स? मैं 4th ईयर में हूँ और पंजाब यूनिवर्सिटी से लॉ कर रहा हूँ।
YouTube चैनल एक फैजन मुस्तफा रन करते हैं, which is quite good. आपको वो देखना चाहिए. उनके चैनल का नाम मुझे नहीं अभी याद आ रहा, वो लेटेस्ट लीगल डेवलपमेंट्स को काफी इजी तरीके से कॉमन आदमी के हिसाब से एक्सप्लेन करते हैं। लाइव लॉ और बार एंड बेंच जो लीगल वेबसाइट्स हैं जिनके बारे में आपने सुना होगा, वो लोग भी अपने यूट्यूब चैनल चलाते हैं जहाँ पे वो लीगल डेवलपमेंट्स को डिस्कस करते हैं। अपने they run interviews with people and in other ways kind of make the law come alive। तो वो एक और है जो देखने लायक है। तो ये 2-3 चीजें हैं जो अभी ध्यान में आ रही हैं यूट्यूब का जाता।
सर एक क्वेश्चन और है, जैसे मैं रिकॉर्डिंग से स्टडी करता हूँ तो ज्यादा मटेरियल लिखा नहीं जाता है मेरे से एग्जाम में। सभी टीचर मेरे को कहते हैं बढ़ाना चाहिए मटेरियल, इसके लिए क्या क्या कर सकते?
रिकॉर्डिंग मतलब कैसेट पे आप रिकॉर्ड करवाते हो अपने नोट?
नहीं सर, ऑडियो रिकॉर्डर पे, कैसेट पे नहीं, ऑडियो बस होती मतलब रिकॉर्डिंग ही है, ऑडियो।
तो आप स्क्रीन रीडिंग सॉफ्टवेयर यूज नहीं करते क्या टेक्स्ट बुक्स वगैरह पढ़ने के लिए?
सर याद नहीं होता मेरे को, उससे ज्यादा वो नहीं लगा मेरे को।
अच्छा, तो अगर मान लो आपको एक पर्टिकुलर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल लॉ में फंडामेंटल राइट्स चैप्टर पढ़ना है, तो आप कैसे उसको करते हो? लाइक आपको ऑलरेडी प्री रिकॉर्डेड मिलता है या आप किसी को बोलते हो कि रिकॉर्ड करके दे और फिर आप सुनते हो?
सर घर पे रिकॉर्ड कर देते हैं, जैसे सारे आर्टिकल्स, क्लॉजेस, केस, सारा कुछ रिकॉर्ड करके फिर 2 बार सुनना पड़ता है, फिर वो होता है।
और एक बार आपने जब वो सुन लिया रिकॉर्डिंग, तो आप उसको याद कैसे करते हो? लाइक आप कहीं ब्रेल में लिखते हो या कंप्यूटर पे लिखते हो या फिर माइंड में रिमेम्बर करते हो?
सर माइंड में ही रिमेम्बर करना पड़ता है, 2-3 बारी सुन के, 4 बारी।
कि ये मैं आपका समझ रहा हूँ आपका जो तरीका है, मगर मेरे आपको रेकमेंडेशन ये होगी कि दिस इज एन एक्सट्रीमली इनएफिशिएंट वे आजकल के ज़माने में टू बी एबल टू स्टडी। तो आप भले ही ऑडियो रिकॉर्डिंग साथ साथ यूज़ कर सकते हो, बट उसके साथ आपको अपना टेक्नोलॉजी में भी कैपेसिटी डेवलप करना पड़ेगा। भले ही आपको अभी शायद वो कठिन लग रहा हो, मगर धीरे धीरे आपको शुरुआत करनी ही पड़ेगी कि आप
पढ़
जॉब
मैं
के
लेता
साथ।
हूँ, मेरे याद पढ़ मैं लेता हूँ, एक्सेस कर लेता हूँ मैं स्क्रीन रीडिंग सॉफ्टवेयर से,
हाँ 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 हाँ।
पर याद नहीं मेरे को लगता उससे होता। 1-2 बारी 3 बारी पढ़ो तो वो वही का वही रहता है।
नहीं, मेरे ख्याल से आपको पढ़ के उसको लिखना भी चाहिए। आपको वर्ड फाइल बना के उस पर जो आपने पढ़ा है उसको लिखना भी चाहिए, क्योंकि एक पुराना कहावत है, राइटिंग मेक्स द मैन परफेक्ट। तो जब आप जो
राहुल
आप
सर,
पढ़े
आप
हैं
मेरे को रिकमेंड कर सकते हो नोट मेकिंग के लिए क्या क्या हो सकती हैं चीजें, वो आप मेरे को बता
माइक्रोसॉफ्ट
देते हो
वर्ड ही
नोट्स।
अगर आप सिंपल एक, जैसे जॉर्ज सर बोल रहे हैं, अगर आपने कोई भी फाइल पढ़ा विच जो जो आप मान लो आप कोई बुक पढ़ रहे हो या एक पर्टिकुलर चैप्टर पढ़ रहे हो, तो ऑल यू रियली नीड टू डू इज आप साथ साथ अपने वर्ड डॉक्यूमेंट में उस डॉक्यूमेंट से जो भी कुछ इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट्स आ रहे हैं सामने, उनका नोट बनाते जाएं और बार बार फिर वो रिविजिट करें जो आपने अपने नोट्स बनाए हैं, ताकि आप ना भूलें। दूसरी बात ये है कि जो आप बोल रहे हो कि आपका रिटेंशन नहीं हो पाता व्हेन यू रीड विद जॉज, तो वो आप उसमें लैंग्वेज ये जो सिंथेसाइजर है, स्पीच सिंथेसाइजर, आप बदल के देख सकते हो कि एक कोई पर्टिकुलर वॉइस
सर
है
उसकी कोई
अगर,
प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, आ जाती। इंग्लिश ठीक है मेरी, पर वो
और
वैसे ही
स्पीड भी
याद नहीं
ठीक है,
रहता।
स्पीड कम करके देखा
स्पीड भी
आपने?
स्पीड ठीक
क्योंकि कुछ लोगों को
स्पीड
स्पीड कम
ठीक है
करके
सर,
भी फायदा होता है।
या
कम
मेरा
तो
विचार
ठीक
ये
है।
है
आप
कि आप पढ़ के साथ साथ अपना नोट्स लिखित रूप में लेना है माइक्रोसॉफ्ट वर्ड या नोटपैड पे, ताकि वो आप और उसको सेव करेंगे तो फिर वो आपको एक रेफरेंस मटेरियल भी हो जाएगा, और दूसरे किताबों से भी आप नोट्स बना के उसमें डाल सकते हैं। देन यू कैन स्टार्ट राइटिंग योर आंसर्स। तो मेरे ख्याल से बचपन से ही
थैंक
मैंने महसूस किया है कि जब आप लिखते हैं तो ज़्यादा याद रहते हैं हमें।
यू सर।
राइट।
Yes,
गुरबख्श,
that I think is extremely important, and धीरे धीरे आपको ये करना ही पड़ेगा, because when you start working ये रिकॉर्डिंग वाला सिस्टम नहीं बहुत काम
चलेगा
में
या
आएगा।
नहीं चलेगा देन।
हाँ, जब आप जॉब में जाएंगे तो उसके लिए और भी ज्यादा आपको इस बात का ध्यान रखना होगा। और जो फैजान का चैनल आप बता रहे थे राहुल, उसका नाम है लीगल अवेयरनेस वेब सीरीज। मैंने
Yes.
उसका लिंक और उसका नाम चैट बॉक्स में डाला है आप सब लोगों के रेफरेंस के लिए.
Excellent. Excellent.
There are more questions, I think.
Yes.
There are 3 or 4 more questions I can.
We are going to go to Jayan Singh Raghav. Jayan, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah. Hello, I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So my question was that, like, what are the, like, in future? Right now, I'm in my final year of bachelor's. Okay. And
Final years of what bachelor's?
I'm pursuing my English honors from Delhi University.
I see. Which college?
It's Ramlal Anand College.
Okay.
Yeah. And over there, I would like to tell you in very short. I've been fighting for the facilities and the rights of persons with disability over there. Okay, within the
Right.
college itself. So now I'm thinking to go for the law. Okay, after this. So,
Mhm.
what are the opportunities available? Like, if I go for the law and the judiciary, or like, what are the opportunities available in there?
After studying law, you mean what is it that you can do with a law degree? That's the question.
Yeah, perfect.
So there are several career opportunities that are open to a law graduate. You can practice law in the courts, which is what I plan to do, which is to say litigate and argue and fight cases or assist senior lawyers who are arguing cases in courts. That is one. Second is you can work in a law firm and be involved in transactional law, which is to say that you help draft contracts and commercial arrangements between different parties and put in place the legal structures for those commercial arrangements to be carried into effect. A third option is to teach the law at a national law school or a traditional university. For that, you might want to do a PhD and clear the JEE, the NEET exams for that. And I haven't really explored what the career path for that is because it's not something that I'm keen to do. But that's one thing. And then the fourth option is to conduct research in the law. So, for example, you can work with a think tank like the Vidhi Center for Legal Policy or the Law Commission of India and be involved in researching the law, making reports, providing recommendations to the parliament and various lawmaking bodies. Fifth option is to go into the judiciary, to give entrance exams for the lower judiciary, civil judge, as well as magistrate exams. And those are all merit-based processes. Extremely competent people make it through. Now, of course, when it comes to having blindness, which I assume you do, getting into the judiciary is a slightly trickier path because there are judgments which say that if you are blind, then you won't get reservation in the judicial service examination, and those we need to contest and get overruled. But still, you should check. आप कौन से स्टेट में हो अभी? दिल्ली में ही होंगे ना? Obviously, आप दिल्ली में पढ़ रहे हो.
Yeah.
So Delhi mein, I think there is reservation. I don't take my word for it. You'll have to look it up. But I think in some states and union territories there is reservation for the blind in the judiciary. So वो भी एक option है जो आपको देखना चाहिए. So these are the 5 broad options that you can look at after finishing law. And ये तो सबके लिए same ही रहेंगे. मगर disability based challenges जो है वो हर एक में अलग हो सकते हैं. But by and large, this is how it is.
Okay, I got your point.
Okay, we'll move on to the next question from Shrikant Rathi. Shrikant,
Yes.
can you please unmute yourself? Ask your question.
Yeah, there is another option which is being suggested, which is corporate law.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Am I audible? It's Shrikant.
You are, yes. Hi, Shrikant.
Okay, sir. I am from Government Law College, Mumbai. I'm studying in 3rd year, and it has been a great session from you. I have some questions.
3 years, 3rd year of the 3-year course or the 5-year course?
5 years, sir.
I see.
So, sir, my questions are like, what would be your approach for improving public speaking by debating and moot courts? Like, how did you do in your law school? And secondly, your experiences in legal research, publishing papers, and internship during the law and like law course and working in firm sector after the graduation, and how was your like quite elaboration on your experiences in trilegal firm, like
Sure.
how firm accommodates visually impaired people and how do they help us in assistive softwares.
Sure. So, answering the first question first about debates and more. So, as I stated in the introductory remarks that I gave, because I studied in my hometown at the University of Nagpur, I did not have many mooting opportunities because our college just wasn't on the map nationally for these competitions. We often wouldn't send teams for these things, and even if they were sent, students weren't really of an academic mindset, so they would just go कि मजा करके वापस आ जाएंगे. So therefore, I just never really bothered to participate much in that. But what I did do was a lot of um, paper writing, because those were things that you could do on your own. So I wrote for journals, like I said in my introduction. I gave talks at conferences, and those you just need to be on the lookout for on websites like Loctopus and Live Law. And whenever an opportunity arises, you should go for it. I also helped organize a
I'm sorry to
conference.
interrupt you, sir. I'm sorry to interrupt. Could you repeat the names of the websites which you took just now?
Sure. So one website is Loctopus, L
Noctopus.
A.
Okay.
I'm spelling that out.
Yeah,
L
yeah.
A Lawctopus,
Oh,
Loctopus.
okay.
And the other is Live Law, Live, Live space Law, Law. So
Yes.
those are the websites that you need to keep an eye out for to get that kind of information. And then also the other thing I did was this conference that I helped organize for 3 years, and I sort of moderated panel discussions and spoke at that conference. So that was another opportunity that came my way through being on these websites that I just mentioned. Then, to your second question, I have partly answered that about the research papers I wrote in publications. Um, I ended up finding that I was able to write papers much more effectively when I had someone else to write them with. So therefore, the model of co-authorship worked really well for me, because there can often be issues with effective citation for a visually impaired person, getting the formatting right, getting the citations right. Even if you can do all the intellectual work, having someone, of course, it's helpful to have someone even on the intellectual side of things. But on these issues, if you have a co-author, you can delegate work such that you don't have to worry much about getting those things right. About the internship that I did when I was in law school. So let me give you a brief trajectory maybe of the internship that I did. And I hope that that will give you a flavor for how my career sort of, my internship kind of evolved over a period of time. So at the end of my first year, I interned at this place called Akosha, which was a consumer law organization, just because I wanted to see how law related organizations work. So it was just a very basic internship. Then I worked at the National Human Rights Commission and Law Commission of and Lawyers Collective, because I was interested in human rights law. So I did these very short stints of 15 days each, but it was just aimed at helping me get a sense how these organizations work more than anything else. Then after my second year, I worked, and it was extremely difficult for me to get these internships also because of not being from an elite law school. They would just say that we don't take people who are not in their fourth and fifth year of law school, while people from the and NLUs would get internships even when they were not in their fourth and fifth year. That was just a way for them to keep people like me out. But anyway, so I interned at a couple of law firms, second tier, mid-sized tier two, tier three firms at the end of my second year. Then in my third year, I began, doing more serious internships. I'm quite interested in intellectual property law. That's one of the two areas of law that I'm interested in, apart from constitutional law. So therefore, I did an internship at this law firm called Anand and Anand in my third year, which is a leading IP firm. Then I interned at the Delhi High Court for a judge that year. I interned at a legal think tank called the Vidhi Center for Legal Policy. And then at the end of my third year, I interned for the first time at Trilegal, which is where I eventually got a job. Then I went back to them once before I started working to intern for them. And then I finally, in my last year of law school, interned at the Supreme Court for Justice Lalit, as I told you. To answer your last question about my experience of working at Trilegal and how far firms can accommodate visually impaired people, it was, I think the one thing about Trilegal was that they had a visually impaired person working for them before me, Amar Jain, who used to work in their Mumbai office, who you may have heard of being from TLC yourself. So therefore, they had some amount of institutional know-how on how they could accommodate someone with a disability. But Amar had worked in a very different practice area. I was working in the litigation team. And honestly, it was a question of just figuring out what needed to be done as and when circumstances arose. For example, when it came to helping me get access to documents, sometimes I needed them to get files scanned for me, which were served in physical form. Then I needed to buy this OCR software that I told you about. So they helped me, they purchased it for me. Another form of accommodation was when I would go to court, someone from the office who was anyway there, an office clerk, used to help me navigate the courtroom, take me from my car to the court and back. Because remember how crowded Indian courtrooms are. So going around with a cane in that environment is not really a very feasible option. Then another form of support would be formatting. So whenever I struggled with making sure the document looked right, what they did was they had asked one of the firm's stenographers to look at all the document that I had prepared to make sure that it looked formatting wise perfect. And therefore I would always have to run my document by him. So these were 4 accommodations that immediately come to mind. There may have been more, but it wasn't like we discussed any of this upfront. It was just a question of us putting in place these arrangements when the need arose.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Of course.
All right, Shrikant, we'll go to Aarti. Aarti, can you unmute yourself, please, and ask your question?
Yeah, hello, sir.
Hi.
Actually, I'm not a law student, sir. I'm FYBA student of Ferguson College, Pune. So, सर अगर ग्रेजुएशन के बाद मुझे लॉ करना है तो अभी से कुछ बेसिक थिंग्स अगर मैं कर सकती हूँ तो आप कुछ मतलब बताएंगे कि मुझे क्या करना चाहिए अभी से अगर मुझे कुछ करना है
Right. आप सेकेंड ईयर में हो आपने कहा इन फर्गसन?
No, sir. First year. I had just passed my 12th standard and yeah.
Oh, I see. हाँ, तो देखिए अभी से आप बेसिक लीगल डेवलपमेंट्स की नॉलेज डेवलप करना शुरू कर सकते हो कि भाई भले आप जजमेंट ना भी पढ़ पाओ अभी इस टाइम पे जजमेंट्स क्या कंटेंट ना समझ पाओ और कोर्ट वगैरह जानने में कोई फायदा ना हो, बट जस्ट जनरली लॉ में होता क्या है ये जानने के लिए जैसे वेबसाइट्स हैं, बार एंड बेंच एक वेबसाइट है, आपको लिंक शेयर किया जा सकता है श्रुति के द्वारा इफ शी डजंट माइंड इन द चैट. So websites like Bar and Bench and Live Law, ये websites पे legal development discuss की जाती हैं in a fairly accessible way for a non-lawyer also. तो आप अगर पढ़ना शुरू कर लोगे अभी से कि लॉ में होता क्या है और थोड़ा ध्यान रखोगे कि न्यूज़ में जो लीगल डेवलपमेंट हो रही है तो क्या बात हो रही है, लॉयर्स क्या कह रहे हैं, और कुछ लॉयर्स की ऑटोबायोग्राफीज पढ़ सकते हो आप, जैसे कि एक फाली नरीमन है, बहुत सीनियर लॉयर इंडिया के रहे हैं, उन्होंने लिखी है अपनी ऑटोबायोग्राफी जिसका नाम है बिफोर मेमोरी फेड्स। फिर उसके अलावा अभिषेक मनु सिंह भी एक हैं, उन्होंने
आशीष गुप्ता भी एक है सर, who persons are preparing for MSCET law. Ashish Gupta sir was coaching on YouTube.
होगा, मैं कोचिंग की बात नहीं कर रहा था, बट चलो ठीक है, वो भी है। तो ऑटोबायोग्राफीज में अगर आप और देखना चाहें तो जैसे अभिषेक मनु सिंह भी एक है सीनियर लॉयर, उन्होंने एक बुक लिखी है रिसेंटली फ्रॉम द ट्रेंचेस जिसका नाम है। तो इस तरीके की अगर आप बुक्स पढ़ना शुरू करोगे तो आपका एक इंटरेस्ट डेवलप होगा, which will mean that when you start studying the law, it will be a smooth transition for you.
Okay, thank you
That is
so
all I
much.
can suggest for now. And the other thing that you can also do, one final thing is कि from a visually impaired person, आपने ये तो पूछा नहीं वैसे सवाल में, but still this is advice that you might benefit from, that you can just reach out to visually impaired lawyers and figure out how they work. अब जैसे एक चीज है जो काफी important है एक ब्लाइंड लॉयर की जिंदगी में, बट सिखाई नहीं जाती एक नॉर्मल जॉज यूजर को, is using track changes and comments in Microsoft Word. तो ये track changes को इस्तेमाल करना is not, it's a very advanced feature in Word, but if you are a lawyer, it's something that you need to use on an everyday basis. So you need to learn how to do it, and the sooner you start, the easier it is, because when you start studying the law, तो अगर आपकी technological skills already in place होंगी, then you can start working directly on legal issues and you don't need to then learn these things also afresh. तो ये कुछ हैं जो skills, law specific skills हैं जो आप अभी भी सीखना शुरू कर सकते हो.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, I think we have one last question from Y.A. Kuman.
Okay.
Can you unmute yourself, please? Y.A. Kuman. Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Myself, Y. Kuman. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Hi.
So, good evening, sir. So, actually, the last statement of your previous answer related to my question. Actually, sir, I have just passed my HSC and now I am going to appear for MSCET law. My exam is on 11th of October. So, I wanted to ask you the same thing. That what are the skills required for a visually impaired person to be a lawyer? What are the skills that are to be developed, which are not usually told by people that these things you should do?
See, the first thing I would say in response to that question is a lot of the skills that are needed are the same that any lawyer needs to succeed.
No, sir, other than that, sorry to interrupt you, means I am asking particularly for a visually impaired person.
The reason I said,
you said about our JAWS, the one feature you mentioned just now, so like that.
Yeah, I'll get to that. But the reason I said what I did just was to clarify that you shouldn't, specifically think that yeah. So okay, that point is clear. Now about the specific skills that you'd benefit from in addition to track changes and comments, like I mentioned, I think being able to read at a fast pace is important, because there's a lot of reading that you need to do as a lawyer. So if you can, I don't know at what pace you read JAWS now, but if you can learn to read it at least 65-70% speed, then that's going to be a huge bonus for you. Another one is being able to learn other advanced features in JAWS, like skim reading. Now, of course, it's not the same as actual skim reading, but being able to jump from para to para and know how to use sound schemes, things like that can be extremely empowering. Then also, knowing how to use the text analyzer function, which can help you with formatting issues in your document, because it will point those out to you. So that's one. Then being able to read PDF documents well, knowing how you can convert inaccessible PDFs into Word, having access to the best OCR software and knowing how to use it effectively. And what else? I think these are the main ones, honestly, that I can think of right now.
And also, sir, for accessible content, IndieKI Foundation is providing accessible content for law students, visually impaired law students.
I mean, everything out there you should assume is accessible unless you are told it's not, right? So, whatever content is available for law students on the web is equally available to you. So whatever your friends use, you can look that up. But like some specific resources that I can share, which I used to find helpful when I was a law student. One was this website by Hanuman T. Hanuman's Law Notes, I think it was called, something like that, and it was on the web. And it was extremely informative and detailed notes that I often used to read for my exams, especially. So that was one. Another one is lawnotes.in is another one. Legal Service India is there. Of course, it can have some accuracy issues sometimes, so you need to be careful about that. But that's another website that you can use. And otherwise, everything that others use, you can also use. There's no reason why it should not work for you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks so much. And good luck for the exam on the 11th. I hope it goes well for you.
All right, this has been quite a session, Rahul. Lot of questions.
Yes, yes. And a lot of people who are either in the law or on the verge of joining it as visually impaired people. So that's quite heartening to see. I did not expect so many people to be actually in the law, who are visually impaired.
Yes.
So it's quite good to see that people are considering it a serious career path, and also from a wide variety of places. We had questions from Mumbai, Pune, Delhi. Yeah. So
I know these are some benefits of COVID. We can connect people from everywhere.
Yeah. So even geographically, we've had a diverse audience.
There's somebody, Shruti, there's somebody 1200 something who's raised his hand or her hand.
Oh, let me just see. I've unmuted you. 1260196. What's your name? Do you have a question?
Yeah, thank you, madam. Sir, first of all, salute. My name is Amit from Mumbai.
Hi.
सर सवाल है कि आप कोर्ट में जो डिस्कशन करते हो उस किस प्रकार आप रीड आउट
कौन से फील्ड में हैं आप?
नहीं सर, मेरा और लीगल का कोई भी लिंक नहीं है. जस्ट आई एम कम हियर फॉर जस्ट फॉर इंस्पिरेशन सर.
बोलिए आप कर रहे थे सवाल.
सर सवाल दो है कि कोर्ट में आप जो डिस्कशन करते हो, जो पॉइंट्स है, वो किस प्रकार आप नोटिंग करते हो ब्रेल में, और जो जजमेंट्स होते हैं और डिस्कशन होता है वो किस प्रकार होता है, और सुप्रीम कोर्ट में आपका कोई अलग एक एक्सपीरियंस है, आप शेयर कर सकते हो प्लीज. थैंक यू.
राइट. तो जो पहला सवाल है, जहां तक नोट टेकिंग, आई डू इट ओनली विद द यूज ऑफ जॉज, whether it be taking notes of arguments in court, whether it be highlighting relevant portions from judgments, reading files, everything I do using JAWS. And of course, I have ways of, pinpointing information within that which are helpful. For example, I often use the comments feature in JAWS to be able to flag up relevant things for me that I can then revisit later on when I need to. I don't, like I said when I was speaking initially, I did not learn Braille growing up, and that is a deficiency that I have to deal with. Otherwise, it would have been helpful, not in terms of taking notes in court, because for that JAWS still remains fast, but just reading things out in court or reading things out when discussing cases with your boss or colleagues, because with JAWS, being able to listen and speak at the same time is extremely challenging. But if you have a screen, if you have it stuff in Braille, you can do it much more easily. So that's a deficiency which I'm working to rectify. And then your second question about an experience at the Supreme Court that I might be able to share. Let's see. There is one experience actually which you might find interesting. So this might sound a little boastful, but that's not why I share it. I share it just because it's been sort of the highlight of my job so far, and it might interest you also. So there was a conference, not a conference, a few weeks ago, the Supreme Court E-Committee launched its website. And as I mentioned earlier, Justice Chandrachud heads the E-Court project in the Supreme Court. And the launch of that website was attended by the Chief Justices of all the High Courts across the country, by the Attorney General for India, etc. So all the who's who in the law were in attendance. At that event, Justice Chandrachud made it a point to mention that I have been involved in helping with the accessibility of that website, and especially acknowledge my contribution in giving him feedback on the website, as well as in other facets of legal information dissemination that the courts have engaged in India, how they disseminate legal information and how legal processes work, that I have been giving feedback on their accessibility. And so that was quite special to receive acknowledgement from him on a platform like that. And then LiveLaw tweeted about it, and then that tweet also went quite viral. I got a lot of calls and messages from people like today who have friends or cousins who have visual impairments, and people who just wanted to ask me more about my job, etc. So that was quite a high point for me thus far in my job.
Well, any more questions, Shruti?
I don't think so.
Happy to take
Hi, Shruti, George, and Rahul.
Yes.
Yeah, I just have a couple of comments, no questions as such.
Yes.
So this Justice Chandrachud is not YB Chandrachud, no? I think his son, right?
This is
YB Chandrachud was his father.
Okay,
yes.
D.Y. Chandrachud, yeah. So I think Braille will suit you best. With the Orbit reader these days, you can take notes as well as read your material. That will come in handy.
Yeah, I do have the Orbit Reader 20 actually. I purchased it a couple of years ago. It's just that until now I haven't, learned Braille adequately to be able to use it on an everyday basis. So I just need to practice more to become more efficient at reading it.
Okay. And I did find Before Memory Fades in Bookshare. So similarly, I would like to recommend another book by Isaac Lidsky. He is also a blind lawyer who interned for
Eyes Wide
RBG.
Open. Yes.
Eyes Wide Open, yeah. That's also a good book to read.
The book is called Eyes Wide Open, is it?
Yeah, Eyes Wide Open.
Okay.
Isaac Lidsky.
Yes.
Hi,
I actually interviewed him also, Isaac Lidsky. So I did.
Oh, you did, yeah.
Series.
Yeah, I think that interview only turned me to that book.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry, what was your name? I didn't catch your name.
My name is
Who
Justin.
am I speaking to?
I'm Justin. I'm from Bangalore.
Okay.
I'm not in the legal field, by the way.
I see. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, this is Ravindra from Nagpur. Yes, hello. Yeah, you're right. Right. Actually, I'm also from Nagpur. Can you share your email ID?
Sure. It's rahul.bajaj.
Yeah. Rahul, you can go ahead and say it, but we'll also, for the benefit of everyone who joined this session, who would like to get in touch with you also circulate it later on.
Right, right.
Yeah, but I'll just
Yeah, on me.
your voice is breaking.
रविंद्र जी कोई सवाल कर रहे थे आप?
नहीं, मैं कोई और बोल रहा है मैडम. Someone else is talking.
Okay.
Yeah, so
आपको स्टिल ईमेल एड्रेस बता देता हूँ, भले आपको बाद में सर्कुलेट तो कर ही देंगे. So it's rahul.bajaj, rahul.bajaj 1038 @gmail.com.
Okay.
Yes.
yeah, I think we will, like all good things have to come to an end. So we'll close the session now, and the session recording will be up on YouTube in a day or two. This recording would anyway be available on Facebook right away. Rahul, thank you very much for investing this time with us and sharing your life story. And I think there were a lot of very interesting insights that you shared. And also, it was a very, very kind of balanced account of life. And it was interesting to also see you acknowledge right at the beginning that you came from a privileged background, but you still have, being privileged does not necessarily mean life is easy. And you also were kind of very candid about your about your deficiencies and shortcomings in terms of certain skills that you didn't pick up when you were growing up, and that is coming to haunt you now, but you are working on them. So I would like to thank you for giving this time to us, and and the people who have been in this session who would like to contact you, we will share your email ID. And I'd like to thank all of you who have logged in to be in the session, both on Zoom as well as on Facebook. And I'd like to thank you and have a great evening. And we are at the threshold of a long weekend, so enjoy yourself. Be safe.
All right. Thank you so much, George, sir. It was such a wonderful opportunity, and I'm really happy to hear people ask such interesting questions, and I'm glad I could provide hopefully some useful insights.
All right. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Shruti.